Hello traders, today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. I'm going to go over 13 different names. A lot of them, or some of them, are from earnings that we actually got today. As per usual, please make sure to do your own due diligence and research before you invest any money or risk any capital in any type of investment. That being said, let's start with a video, and we are going with a firm, and it's looking pretty it's looking pretty decent. I added these trend lines this morning. We were up at one point today almost 8%, I believe, but we end up closing at 5.5%, which is pretty decent. After hours, you're down under the 42.5 level, which is a pretty stubborn level. We're down 1.4% as of right now. And let's take a look at a 5-minute chart and see how things are looking. The whole day was pretty consistent up until basically 11 a.m. Then sellers came into display and you were right on support at 45. So we're still on this range, in my opinion, between 42.5 and 45. It looks actually like we're setting up for something quite interesting right before earnings. Earnings are coming on November the 7th, so keep an eye on that. My range right now is 42.5. Then you have the 45 level, which is okay, and 47.8. Now, keep in mind that at least by what we are seeing throughout everything that is reporting this week, and part of last week as well, everything is having very volatile reactions to the upside or the downside, depending how the market is interpreting some of these reports. So keep that in mind. I do believe that it is important for you to be cautious before you try to risk any of your money. And I think you should be thinking twice before buying anything right before earnings. After what I've seen today, I think it's probably more, it's just smarter to wait after the end of this week or beginning of next week, and then after that the dust settles, then we can start placing positions based upon what we're seeing. Another factor that we have, which is quite important, is elections. So we have election day in exactly a week, I believe. Or maybe 6 days, I don't know. Keep that in mind as well. That's going to have definitely an effect on some stocks. Tesla, for example, is one of them, but Bitcoin and Bitcoin related stocks. So in general, I think the market is going to have a reaction, either if it's Trump or Kamala who comes the president of the United States. That's what I have for a firm. Now let's move on to AMD, and talking about reactions, strong reactions coming from the market. AMD had not such a good day today, so it was down 10.62%, and it's a little bit down after hours. It's pretty much 0.30%, so that really doesn't count in my book. Now let's take a look at wait, here it is. You have a gap right here. I think you easily can continue going down after the news from actually, I want to add that to my list, so sorry for getting distracted. But SCMI, I do believe that this sector is going to have complications pushing to the upside. My price target right now for AMD is 145, which is right on the 325 SMA, and I think that we're probably going to break it and see if we have a similar reaction as what we had here on this area. This was August the 5th, and then we had this area right here in the middle of exactly a month after the 5th. So we'll see how things develop, but I think we're gonna probably continue going down towards this level at 144, 145, and maybe a little bit lower than that. I think this sector is going to be weak for a few more days, and we'll see how things develop. But for now, that's what I have on AMD. let me take, I'm just adding a name to this video because it was pretty interesting what happened today. Anyways, let's move on to Amazon. And Amazon just reported earnings. I'm not following exactly how they went. Things are in line, so we'll see what comes in the call. The call might be happening right now. Who knows? But there was definitely not a reaction. I do have Amazon calls, and they are printing quite well. Today we had a pretty decent day, but then buyers came back in. I'm sorry, sellers came back in somewhere around. Were actually in the beginning of the day. Then you had you recover a little bit, and then buyers or sellers came in. Keep saying buyers, sellers came in somewhere around 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then you had this decrease in price consistently throughout the day. Anyways, we'll see what happens with Amazon. We're over 190. Excuse me. And I think that if things don't get a little bit positive in the next few days, you're going to retest this level at 190. If you don't have any momentum, I see difficulty going towards 200. So for now, I think my price target is 190. This is probably going to continue going down. I hope to be wrong because I have calls, but this is what I'm seeing right now on the chart. MACD and TSI, however, are looking positive, at least for now, and the RSI is also looking positive. So keep that in mind if you want to keep positive on the continuation of this move. Anyways, it was up exactly 1% today and is flat after hours. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and been mentioning Bitcoin quite often now. It is keeping this resistance support level right now of 71. I have it at 71.8. I think that is crucial, but I think if we go down towards this level, which is 69, basically, it wouldn't be that bad. You have low liquidity here, so maybe you add a little more volume in this area, and then you go and break 71 again, or 72 basically, and then continue going up. You were very, very close, I think, to all-time highs. You were right under it. So we'll see if more momentum comes in. MACD and TSI is looking a little bit extended, but again, this is Bitcoin. We can continue pushing up. So I'm not too worried about it. Again, we are back on that game of volume, but the way this is moving, that you can see these lower highs, is quite positive in my opinion. It's all about volume and see if buyers continue coming in. That's what I have for Bitcoin. Again, your levels, your support level right now is 71.9 or 72, and your next support level would be 69, 68.9, 69. Let's call it 69. Anyways, let's move on to I haven't covered, and I'm covering Carvana right now if I can find it. Where are you? Gee, where is this thing? Down. Okay, I thought it was CA. Carvana. So 20% move after hours. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and see how this happened. Look at this monster candle right here. What is going to happen tomorrow? You're going to have a massive gap, and I'm going to show you something I've seen on so you're right here right now. This is where the price is right now. So you are at 250 after hours. That is incredible. So you went from 207 to 250, a $43 move, 20% move, 20.5% move on this stock. You're going to have a massive gap. You're going to have a massive extension. This might be a great opportunity to the downside. I'm not saying that is exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to keep this in mind. The reason for this is because of how extended and overbought this. I'm writing this this on my little post-it for tomorrow. But anyways, I think there might be some opportunity. Yet I want to tell you their earnings report was pretty good. Let's take a look at what I have on my notes for Carvana. So they had revenue of 3.66 billion, up 23% year over year. Units sold 108.6 thousand, up 34% year over year. These numbers are incredible. Net income 148 million with a 4% net margin. Wow. Adjusted EBITDA have trouble with that. 429 million, which is a record high. What else do we have? Performance metrics, operational income. Did I mention that? 337 million is profitability strongest among auto retailers. All of this is in X, by the way, so you can check my account on X. The link is in the description. Then Q4 outlook anticipates continued year-over-year growth. Interesting. This is good. Strategic edge market. Let's not talk about it. I don't care about that right now. So anyways, the earnings were fantastic. I think this is going to continue, but you might have an immediate reaction within the next few days to the downside. Right now it's 21.3% up. You are 151.5 at $251.5 dollars for the stock price. Interesting. This is I mean, just imagine where the MACD and the TSI. If we go to the 4-hour, let's see how these are looking. They look pretty extended already. They might have actually a little more room to go. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But congrats if you were in Carvana. They actually did fantastic on the report. Now let's move on to what name do I have next. And this is actually a good segue into what I'm talking about. An overreaction. So let's take a look at Google and you will understand maybe what I'm trying to say here. So you had a very nice move after earnings on Google. I did have, and I did have calls, January calls, and I sold them on the first candle of the day. And so the reason why I did that is because before market open, I was looking at the stock, and let's go to the 5-minute. I was looking at the stock, and where is this looking like this? Because I want it like that. Okay, I was looking at the stock, and on the 1-minute chart, and this is what I saw. I saw a couple of things. I saw the massive gap between this candle and the prior candle, which is this candle right here. So that was the gap that I was looking at, which was basically this entire green area. So what I said was, this is gonna tank. You know, there's not real liquidity here, and you see liquidity here because this is a 1-minute chart, but on the 1-hour chart, or in the 1-day chart, there's basically no liquidity. So I was like, I'm just gonna take my money, and I was up already almost 60% on my calls. So I sold everything. I didn't sell 50% or anything like that. I sold the whole thing. And then what happened? We went down to this level, which is 180, then recover again, nice. But then you keep going down, and that 5% that you had in the beginning of the day, let's go to the 5 minutes so you can see this better. That 5% that you had in the beginning of the day was pretty much gone by the time of closing. So you end up closing with 2.9%, which is still pretty good for Google. And I do believe that, if things were looking a little bit different, I do believe that this move is going to continue. I wouldn't be surprised actually that if you go down to 170 and then you continue climbing on a more consistent way. But anyways, I took advantage of this move and I took my money out. Even though yesterday I was saying I'm gonna keep these calls, the way I saw this gap in the beginning of the opening, which is right where you see that line right here, where you see that little hand, there is where I saw the opening. I was like, this is way too much. I don't wanna. And then when this started moving up, I was like, I'm out. I sold everything. Let's get rid of this gap. You had a double gap today. That got filled. Now you have this gap filled right at that point. Now you only have this gap right here, which is smaller. We'll see what is the reaction we get tomorrow. It's a little bit red after hours, but that doesn't mean anything considering there is only 0.20%. But again, when I saw this this morning, I was like, this liquidity is not going to hold, and I don't think this is going to be pushed. It's Google. This is not going to get pushed. too hard. Now, MACD and TSI are looking okay. RSI is a little bit overbought. That's fine. I do believe that it is very possible that 170 is back in play, 171, and we might rebound on that area. I like how it's behaving. It's just that the sell-off today was a little bit of a turn-off for me. I was, I guess, lucky enough to have clarity of mind and being willing to sell. You know, when it was up like almost 6% in the morning. And, you know, I also saw my brokerage account and I was like, well, I'm up 60%. So I'm out, you know? So, anyways, and that's what I'm talking about Carvana, I guess. You have that massive move that you have in Carvana right here, which you can, I mean, you're at 250, right? So don't be surprised and sellers come in. People take, I mean, I would, you know, take profits. And then, you know, you experience a little of a cool off on the stock. And then the stock is probably going to continue moving up, considering that people understand that, at least for now, Carvana is looking pretty solid. For now, Google is looking solid as well. So I think this candle is going to get, you know, some green in the future, probably the near future, who knows, and a continuation to the upside. But for now, I took my money out. I just, my thought process was just protect your capital at all cost. And those were earnings that I wanted. Anyways, another name that was quite surprising for me today, and that is HIMS. And a couple of things here. So yesterday I was saying that the stock was looking better than the day before. What did I say 2 days ago? I said that 18.7 was still in play. And I'm sorry to tell you, I guess I was right. Yesterday, however, I was saying, well, this is looking good. I like the fact that HIMS is behaving the way it's behaving. I like the fact that we are in this range between 23.7 and 21, or 23.5 and 21.7. But I also mentioned, I don't know if that was yesterday or the day before, is that this stock is very reactive to news or catalysts. Now, the catalyst that I was talking about was in LLY. The catalyst that I was talking about was, well, earnings themselves. But we saw this reaction from, you know, the, you know, earnings miss. Let me see if I have notes from, because I did put something this morning. Sorry, let me take, yeah. So from earnings that we got in the morning from Eli Lilly. And they didn't do too well, but based upon what I'm looking on this report, looks like for the most part they did. No, I'm not talking about HIMS. I'm talking about LLY and the influence on this move for HIMS. It looks like, in my opinion, it's bad news for LLY, but maybe it's not bad news for HIMS, because what it looks like is an LLY is losing market share to somebody, to some company, and that company could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be HIMS. That is a good possibility. HIMS also has, I was reading some white papers that they published, and you should actually look for it. That was quite interesting about the research that they are doing and what they are trying to do with, especially weight management drugs and the products that they're selling or they're planning to sell. That is a good thing. One of the things, again, that you know, that it would be worth to point out is that you have to be very careful on how you want to manage earnings. And this is especially for people like myself that trades options. If you trade stocks, you might actually have an opportunity if this continues going down towards 17.25. That could happen. Let's get rid of this gap right here. And I point out gaps because most of the times, not always, they get filled. In this case, this one got filled again. I think this move, in my opinion, is an overreaction again. Just like what we saw, this overreaction, I think, was also due to Eli Lilly. There was something, I forgot, I did a whole video about it, but and a whole report on X. It was something regarding drugs as well. The weight loss. It wasn't. It was a generic Ozempic or whatever. Anyways, and then you actually had buyers coming back in, and the stock started moving very nicely. Well, we'll see what happens on this point of support right now at 18.7. Just be very careful on your way into earnings. Personally, I was thinking if this is behaving that way, consolidating in this area, I was thinking about buying some lotos, some calls for earnings. At this point, I'm not going to. And the reason is because I see how volatile this name becomes on news. Now, if earnings are great, this is just going to fly. If earnings are bad, however, I'm sorry to tell you, you can probably go to 15, and I'm going to tell you why. Just so you have a little bit of a perspective of this, between these two levels, you only have 18%. This move today was 14%. So that tells you that in a couple of days during, between earnings and probably the following days, you can cover 18% on this stock without an issue. So that's what is a little bit concerning, and that's why I don't think I'm gonna buy calls or anything like that. But if you're buying shares, well, I think that could be a good opportunity just to buy in again, because in my opinion, HIMS, at least for now, has a very steady future. And as far as we can tell on the stock price, is just going to continue going up. Now, if this goes to 17 and starts to rebound, or if it goes to 15.4 and it starts to rebound any of those levels, I'm definitely going to jump in. I'm not sure about 13, 16. That would be a stretch. That would be what, like 30% from this point, from where we are right now. Let's take a look. Yeah, that would be 30%. Wow, I was right about that. Anyways, keep that in mind. I do believe that now 17.25 is in play. And something that I also mentioned, I believe, a few days back, I've been covering HIMS every day. You're getting a lot of liquidity here in this area, which is a good thing and a bad thing as well, just like low liquidity, I guess. But anyways, just keep an eye. You are trying to mount back on the 35 SMA. So if we talk technicals right now, that's not a bad thing, but you're still right under. You didn't break support, which is 18.7. And right now you are not looking too good on the MACD and the TSI. The RSI is also moving quite fast. But for now, you have 2 extra trading days. Thursdays and Fridays have less volume. Tomorrow you're going to have, because of earnings, you're probably going to have some decent volume coming in. Friday is probably going to be a little bit slow. Anyways, keep an eye on the 17.25 level right now and your support level. And also keep an eye on how the candles are behaving. If there is more volatility coming in, you are actually down 1.3% after hours. So if more volatility comes in, you just have to be very careful on how you trade, especially, again, if you're an option trader. If you're into stocks, then my suggestion would be to really try your best to see how the stock is reacting and what the candles are telling you. And maybe at that point, you can actually buy some of these stocks or some of these shares at a discount. That's a way. That's the two ways of seeing this, right? From the option perspective and from the position share perspective, I guess, especially if you're a long-term investor. Anyways, this is still, it looks bad, I guess, on the surface, but I think as a company, if you do some research on HIMS, it doesn't look too bad. A bad day for sure. We can all agree on that. Let's move on and take a look at another strong reaction from the market, and that would be for Robinhood. I spoke almost for 20 minutes on HIMS, or 10 minutes on HIMS. Anyways, Robinhood, you are down almost 10%. So the stock price is right here where this line is. So you are at 25.46%. I think I did write something on Google on Hood on X. I'm pretty sure I did. Yes, I did. Okay. So this is basically what they have. EPS is in line, 0.17. Sales 637 million. Below forecast or expectations of 650 million And you know, the quarter was mixed. The market didn't like it. That's it. That's the bottom line. So at the time of my post on X, it was down 15%. Right now, it's down basically 10%. I do think that Robinhood definitely has a future. I do think that this gap is going to fill. So you're going to have a gap right here from this point to this point, or somewhere around here in the beginning of the trading day. You might actually go down all the way to 24. Who knows? You still have low liquidity here, but then I think you're going to rebound. So there is opportunities here, but I guess I just want to say the market is reacting very aggressively, and this is what I said I believe in the beginning of the video, um, to stocks and catalysts, in this case earnings. um, the market is reacting very, very strongly to what we get, and for that reason you have to be cautious. And one thing, just to keep it 100% real, I did buy one call on Hood, and the reason I only bought one is because I wasn't too sure. And another thing that I said, just like what I said about SoFi, is like, this looks extended into earnings, and I don't like that. And if earnings are not perfect, you're gonna get smacked. So I lost my $150, which is fine. Yeah, that option is probably completely, it's gonna be dead by tomorrow morning. But I mean, I knew that risk. I was like, well, you know, it's $150. It's only one option, so why not? But again, this is exactly what I was thinking. I was like, this is gonna be a 12% reaction, give or take, and that's exactly what happened. So we are right now at 10, almost 11% down. So, you know, it goes also to show what I was saying before. I'm gonna say this again. If the stock is too extended before earnings, let it do its thing. You know, just look at it. I don't know, just stare at it. Don't trade it. And I knew that, but still I ended up buying one little call. Anyways, let's move on to um whew, Meta. Okay, let's do Meta. Another one that reported today. I think that seeing these numbers, and not some other stocks are not gonna look too good. Anyways, down 3.2%. You are down here on the report. So if we go to the 4 hour, you had this nice week, but still on top of that support level. Anyways, let me see if I have any notes on Meta. I think I did eBay Meta, yeah. So they didn't do too bad. Daily active people increased by 5% to 3.29 billion. Imagine that. Ad impressions up 7% year over year. Let's see the financial performance. Revenue 40.6 billion, a 19% year over year increase, beating estimations by 0.3 billion. Operating margin 43%, up 2 percentage points year over year. EPS 6.03, exceeding expectations by 0.74. Fiscal year 2024 capital expenditures adjusted to 40 billion, slightly higher, so that was a problem, from the previous range, which was 37 to 40 billion. So you had 38 to 40 billion. There was a first range, and it came out higher, 37 to 40 billion range. So, you know, the growth is strong across key metrics. It has solid revenue and EPS beats, but still the market didn't like it. And now you got a 3% discount, in my opinion. I still like Meta. Don't be surprised and you actually go all the way down to the support level right here at 545. That would be actually good if you actually want to jump in and maybe position yourself. Again, next week is going to be insane, not because of earnings or anything, basically because of the elections. So we'll see what happens. So just be careful in how you trade. You have a volume gap right here, right under this volume shelf. So it depends where you open tomorrow. You might have a little magnet going down towards 545. That's what I have for Meta. Now let's discuss MicroStrategy. So take a quick note here, and that would be MSRT. I do have, they went down for a minute, they were down almost 8%. I think, I don't know, right now they are down 4.5%. And I think it's mostly because they announced a plan of raising 42 billion in the next 3 years to buy Bitcoin. That sounds super risky, but if Bitcoin continues to go up in the next 3 years, then who is gonna be the one laughing on the way to the bank, right? So I don't know. If I see this the way I see it again, you were massively extended. By the way, look at this. You had this very nice formation right here on this support level, and then you broke it. Well, you retested, and then you went up. And I'm gonna show you another stock that had a very similar setup and did earnings today as well. I gave you that. Well, I tell you later. But anyways, you were very extended, and of course you're gonna have some sort of reaction if the market doesn't like your report, if it's not 100% perfect. And this is exactly what happened. So now you're down, not by much really, all things considered, 5%. So your next candle is gonna open right down here. Look at the MACD and the TSI. They look like they're really pushing. So if you actually have another move down to this level right here, 225 maybe, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, every time I see moves like this, I also go back to the fact of like, well, you're overextended. What are you expecting? Anyways, that's what I have for MSTR. And now let's visit our friends at RIOT. So this, I guess, Bitcoin mining company that I've been mentioning lately, I like one of the things, but I also gave a warning. What I like about this was that it was moving very steadily to the upside on influence with Bitcoin moves and whatnot. But I also told you, be careful with how this is going to react on the 325, 335. I'm sorry. Gee, I forgot. I think I have some SMA. I had to actually take a look at this at 325 SMA. I've been a little bit foggy today. Anyways, and what I was saying was like you might be in range here, but if you break under the 200 SMA, you're going to continue going down. Well, you had earnings today and they weren't the best. Let me take a quick reading on my notes on Riot. So total revenue of 84.8 million, below estimations of 91.7 million. But still, they were up 65% year over year. So they, I guess, well, they still up 65%. Bitcoin mining revenue 67.5 million. And here's where the problem comes: missing the forecast of 79.5 million. That is where basically the issue landed. Net loss of 154.4 million. Let's take a look at the operating metrics. The expense, the SG&A expense is of 66.9 million, 67 million, let's say, above estimations of 53.6 million. Not good. Depreciation and amortization, 16 million, higher than expected, 42.9 million. So with those numbers, I think you are going to continue going down towards 8.7. Is that simple. I think the TSI was already pretty diverged and extended, and today was also during that trading day, it was giving you indications of losing strength. That 325 SMA was also got rejected yesterday. So you had that. So I think you are gonna have a reversal here. I might actually buy puts on Riot tomorrow. Let me write that down. And by the way I trade the trend. I trade what the technical indications show me. I am not biased towards upside or downside. So if you are looking for somebody in YouTube who is going to I guess preach to your bias for any other stock, I'm not your guy. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. anyways, that's what I have for Riot. I think it's going down to, with this type of earnings, if Bitcoin doesn't rally or something, which is the only thing that is going to save Riot from hitting 875, is going to be Bitcoin rallying within the next 48 hours or so. So that being said, let's move on to this is a company that I was talking about, that I mentioned um, on X. I didn't mention, I don't think I did mention this on any videos, at least any at the same time that I was mentioning this on X. That's why I suggest you following X, because sometimes I forget to mention stuff in my videos that I have on X. But anyways, on October 20th, so we were here looking at this Friday, or to October 20th was a Sunday. I did post this chart, and we were right on this candle right here. And what I was saying was that there was a consolidation under the key resistance level of 111, and this is displaying a potential for a breakout with a solid support structure below. That's exactly what I wrote, and this is what you had. You were consolidating not only here between the support level and this resistance level, but you also had this trend line, and then you had this formation here, which was kind of like a cup without a handle. And you had a very nice rebound on the 325 SMA. You had a very nice rebound on this, what was support level at 93.38, and then today you rallied at one point almost 15%, I believe, and then sellers came in. But if you actually bought anything in this area and then you sold today, well, guess what? You did pretty decent money. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart and see how this looked. So earnings came in, jump, it continued rallying, and just like some other stocks that we saw, I think there was a firm or something, momentum went away, sellers came in, and by 9 a.m., sellers kind of took control, but you're still up 7.79%. So this was a fantastic call that I gave you back on October 20th on X. I suggest you take a look at what I post on X. Anyways, let's move on now to where are you? This is an interesting move. Let's talk about SoFi, because this is going to show you something interesting. Okay, let's do SoFi. Sorry, I'm just taking a note really quick, if you don't mind. Okay, so SoFi had an overreaction. Earnings were fantastic, in my opinion. Had an overreaction to the downside, and then buyers came in today and bought. I think yesterday what I said was, and yeah, there is an overreaction. You might actually see a continuation going down towards this level, which is 921. That didn't happen. But I also said that, because of this reaction and the look of the candle, you could actually have buyers coming in. I didn't anticipate and they were going to come with such a, I guess, violence, for lack of a better term, and bring us up 7.16%. At this point, that the stocks still look a little bit extended, so you might actually see a cool down towards 1020 or 1020 area. But this is exactly the opposite of what we saw with Google, what we might see tomorrow with Carvana, and what we could actually see also in the following days with HIMS. I was relating HIMS to SoFi on the fact that when things get too extended, and maybe now Robinhood, you get a report that maybe the market doesn't understand or like, and then you're going to have a sell-off, a massive sell-off. And then maybe the following days or day, like in this case, then buyers come in and, they take opportunities of the lower prices. Just the move for today was pretty solid. You had definitely a move towards a big portion of the day, and my guess is that towards the end of the day, you also got, so this most of the day you were going up, and then sellers came in towards the end of the day within the last 2 hours of trading. And that's exactly, if you read the candle, you start right here, past the middle of the day, towards the end of the day, then, sellers took a little bit of control. Anyways, 7.16% up for the day. And then the MVP of the day would be SMCI. So yeah, I think that these guys are in a lot of trouble, and this could actually have very serious implications for Nvidia. That being said, another thing that I did mention on X on August 28th, the stock at the time, there wasn't the split yet. So on the 28th, the split happened on October 1st. On the 28th of September, we were here. So that was, we were on this candle. The 28th was a Saturday. So I posted this on the 28th. And what I said was, oh, I'm sorry, actually, never mind. I thought it was September. I'm looking on my X page. It's on August, actually, the 28th. It was a Wednesday on this candle. My price target was 360, which is this line right now. After the split, that was 35.65. That was my price target. Some people thought I was crazy. I don't care. Well, we are right now under that level. We are at 32. My next level, if this drama continues, you also have earnings, which, in my opinion, how are they going to justify everything that is happening, right? And just to give you a little bit of color of what happened today is the stock was down at 1.24%, at least at the time of that post. Right now, it closed at 32.68%. That is insane. And then still losing 2% after hours. So you're down almost 40 or 35%. Currently at 32.40 price, stock price. Anyways, so Ernest Young submitted a letter of resignation to Supermicros, and back in August 28, I did set up a price target of 360, and we are actually there. So on August 28th, we did actually see a little bit of it was a bearish report, and the market obviously didn't like it, and they were actually right on what they were reporting. Anyways, you are down almost 35%. You are at the 33 level right here after hours. No, actually 32 level after hours. My price target by earnings, which are on Monday. I might actually buy puts on this thing. Let me. SMCI. Yeah. My price target is 23, and this actually can continue going down. But that being said, this is gonna drag a lot of the sector down with it. My next level after 23, that would be absolutely dramatic, would be 1177. Let's put a little bit of an understanding. If we are right at this level right here at the price that we're seeing after hours, is a decrease of 25. Well, that's a stretch though. That's a 27% decrease. But I think with everything that is happening, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, buyers can come in if they want to take the risk, but this is not looking good. When an auditor actually doesn't see eye to eye with management of a company like this, of this size, that is a really bad indication. Trust me. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe and like, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.